Ooh, fancy graphics. This must mean it's a JD iRacing video. And it is! We are here at Michigan International Speedway. Now, it's been roughly about a year since the last time that we were here. But this time, we're no longer in Xfinity, we are in the lovely Cup cars. Now, Michigan International Speedway is a 2-mile, I would say mid-banked to high-banked oval. And it is arguably one of the fastest circuits in NASCAR today. These cars are going to top out at over 200 miles an hour going into turn 1 and probably hit 200 miles an hour on the backstretch. The racing itself, I mean, the track surface is huge. This is sort of the sister track to Fontana. And will now be the only 2-mile oval in rotation now that Fontana is being dismantled. Now the racing here is multi-grooved. You can have 4, now in real life you can have 4 to 5 lanes. I don't know if that's going to work here in iRacing given netcode and the skill set of the drivers. And if you watch DJ EJ, you know that he's been ringing that bell of the subpar quality of racing in iRacing. I mean, he's been complaining about the quality there and trying to talk about ways of how to improve that. Let's just hope that this race is not a testament to that. The unfortunate thing, though, is, well, if any of my previous races have been any example, you know, it has not been good. Which is unfortunate. I've had some races where I was wrecked out just by people being really dumb. And it really is sad because I love racing this track. This has been one of my favorite tracks since I was a little kid. When I was playing the original NASCAR racing back in 1995 on a Windows 95 computer, mind you, I loved going around Michigan. And it's because it's so fast, it's so wide, it's really fun to just throw it in there. And you can really throw it into the first corner. And if you can make it stick, man, it's great. Now, what are going to be strategies with this? Your fuel is not going to last the whole race. It's going to last probably about 45 laps. Your tires are probably going to be giving up a little bit before then. 70 laps, so you're probably looking at doing probably a halfway split if it goes green the whole way. But as you saw in the Xfinity race, it's not looking good. And then if you tried watching the Cup race, it also wasn't that good. I mean, a bunch of people got crashed out, and then it got rained out. So you're watching this because it's rained out today, I guess? I'm going to try and spit this out Monday. See if I can do it before the rest of the race finishes. Well, at least you had some Michigan racing. I don't know what the weather's looking like at the track, but it did get rained out, and that kind of sucked. So at least we have this. Now, you notice I'm turning off my engine. I'm just doing a little extra fuel saving at the beginning. I have no idea how well this is going to work. I haven't had a race go caution-free the entire week. Now the pace car dives down onto the apron and goes in. And we are about to go green. Flag's in the air and the cars are going. It gets a little dicey back there. You see the 11 dive down a little bit, try to avoid a little bit of a checkup on the inside. Now, it's the same exact rules as New Hampshire. You're on control of the flag waver on the first start. Everything else is the leader afterwards. So, yeah, things go, oh goodness, oh Jesus, we have a massive pileup out of turn 2. I'm trying to find a hole somewhere. Huge crash there. Jesus. Bunch of parts going everywhere. Ooh, an unsavory little bumper tap there. My goodness, that was, I mean, we're only on lap 1. So again, testament to I'm not really being clean, but let's take a look back and see what actually happened there. See, the 4 and the 5 are kind of getting close. 5 is looking up the inside, and the 4 kind of comes up, and oh, and just goes hard, and the wall almost rolls over and causes everyone to pile in. And we were all nose to tail through there, 2 wide, 3 wide some parts. That just was not going to work. Let's see a different angle here. Maybe we can see exactly what happened. Yeah, 4 just seemed to hook himself on the 5 and just, oh. Yeah, in real life, that's probably a concussion. Bunch of other cars getting torn up there. Let's watch on board with the 6 here. You can just see how much he gets bullied. Oh, Jesus. At least I think that was the 6. I don't know. I forgot which number I actually chose, but ow. Just got tossed through the meat grinder. Now, obviously, because we've only had half a lap of green flag racing, I'm not going into this, but it's time to take a word from our sponsors. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that Marm's Chicken Farm Space Chicken one. I haven't shown that one in a while, but it's one of my personal favorites. Alright. We've had 3 times as many caution laps as we've had green flag laps. Let's see if we can change a bit of that. As I punch my steering wheel. I don't know if that came over the mic. Consummate professional here. But you see, we are 2x2. Pace car dives down onto the apron and into the pits. Now it's the leader who's in control here. And he goes, and we all go. Now you see, I've moved up into 12th place after that whole calamity. Bunch of cars going in for, repair. We managed to get through there relatively cleanly, knock on wood. That continues. Well, we get through turn 2 okay. I get a pretty good run here. Think about giving a bump there. Get a little bit of a tap, not much. Just let them know, hey, hi, I'm here. I don't want to be too aggressive. And speaking of NASCAR racing, you see that NASCAR racing lived around the 14. That's pretty cool. That was the default livery back on that car. Good times. Good times. Yeah, it's very hectic in these first few laps just because you are going so fast. And you notice I'm taking a relatively high... Ooh, we almost go 4 wide there. A little bit dicey. 7 is looking to get a run as he takes that high line as well. Going to see if he can get past the 9. 9 is not giving up and looking to dive the inside. The inside is not the fastest line around here, actually. What I've noticed is if you're in the draft, you know, you have a little bit more grip, oddly. I mean, than you'd expect, but you're still going to understeer a little bit because you're losing the downforce on the front splitter. Oh, I love that angle. Cars go so damn fast there. It's over 200 miles an hour through there. But you want to stay up around that third lane. The reason why is on the first lane, second lane, they're a little bit slick. You can get down to the second lane if you're in clean air, but third lane is probably best if you're in dirty air. The fourth and fifth lane up there are actually pretty good as far as getting runs back onto the straight. Now the straights on these on this track, and it's similar on California Fontana's track as well, is so much quicker because they're so long. I mean, these straights are really, really long, so you want to try and get a good run. And so you can take that high line, and you can try and just really hold off a car pretty well. But you run the risk of getting people who do slide jobs running from third lane or second lane all the way up. Causes a lot of different problems. See, I'm really riding the bumper of the 9 here. He had gotten a pretty good run and gotten ahead of me. But I'm aware. It's lap 8 coming into lap 9. You don't need to push it. You don't need to defend as hard. Sure, track position is important, but you know, it's okay that I've gone from 12th now down to 14th. Because at this point in the race, I mean, these things are marathons, not sprints. Especially when you're doing A Open, which is what I prefer to do. I like getting setups, I like messing around with them. I also like these longer format races where you actually have to consider pit strategy. The fixed races usually take pit strategy out of the equation unless there's a crash. I hate that kind of racing because it kind of ruins some of the fun of it. Now, you see the 10 there diving onto the second line there. Now, why is he doing that? Well, one, you can kind of pass cars there if you really send it. But the other thing is, earlier in the runs, you can get pretty decent speed going down that low. The problem is, the later the runs that you go, the more loose the car is going to get, and you know, if you get loose, either you're going to crash or you're going to have to check up, and you're going to lose all the momentum that you need in order to pass. So it's really ill-advised. Plus, you're scrubbing your tires quite a bit too. This track is a little bit rough on tires. You see everyone's finally gotten a little bit calmer. Most of us are going single file. And unlike super speedways, you know, this track does require a little bit of huge check up there. Car going up almost into the wall there. Everyone kind of dives low just to avoid it. Managed to gain a couple of positions here. Let's see if I can get past the 1 and the 28. Just basically following the 9 right on through. A lot lower than I'd expect to go on the track, but I'm able to come back up and block off the 28. That was really dicey. Yeah, the draft here is very important. Not quite as important as on a super speedway, because you're not really doing pack racing and flat out through the corners. But it really does help. It's the difference between doing maybe 190, probably 98, 99 on a open air lap, you know, like you're doing qualifying or something like that. And in the draft, you're doing probably 202, 203. Depends on what your gearing is set to and how good of a run you get. You see, I'm getting really close to the 24. I almost get in the back of him, and I really don't want to. The 28 checked up and went down a little bit low. He's going to try and see if he can look to my inside. I don't think... No, he's not going to get the momentum to get up there, and he's getting the push from the 10. Ooh, a couple cars blinking back there. Oh, man, they are just going so quick. That's why I love Michigan. It's that speed, man. 28 does get a run, dives to the inside, manages to slot it right in front of me. And I pretty much kind of let him have it. I'm not really wanting to push things too hard. I do want to preserve my tires, and actually I wasn't intending to dive in on his inside. It was simply just, well, I was just keeping the momentum. I didn't want to get on the brakes or anything like that. Plus there were some cars that were diving down too, which would allow me to kind of keep up. Yeah, running 2x2, it is going to slow things down. He kind of gets stopped up just a little bit from the 24. I do have the room up, but he is going to get the run back. I'm not going to cut him off because I don't want to cause an accident. He does get a pretty substantial run on my outside, and I'm still diving down the inside. I would have probably slotted it back up if I was a little bit smarter. It's clear the 28 does have a better car. Now the 10's going to come to my inside. And the... Is that the 15 or is that the 25? I can't really tell. Ah, it's that 25. He looks like he almost wanted to take it 3 wide there, but... Oh, and a caution is out. A couple cars going down onto the apron and to the infield asphalt there. Whew, and now we can take a little bit of a breather. We've now had a probably 12-lap run. So we went green going into lap 5. And I'm pretty much thinking, yeah, we should probably pit. After about 20 laps, there is a considerable difference between your speed. I mean, you're doing 38 point something, and you see my best time there was a 38.6. Best time here is a 38.45. But you're probably doing probably high 38s if you're able to still stay in there, to low 39s by this point. So it just makes sense. Yeah, half a second is considerable. So the question is, how many others are going to come in as well? Same thing with the people behind me. It seems like those 2 cars are back in it, so must not have been too bad of a wreck. Yeah, it looks like everyone's going in. A couple people are staying out. There were some that pitted on lap 5, or a few laps back anyways, so it makes sense. Find my pit box here. Stop it. Just about perfectly. Good job. Always take off the right side tires. Car drives through me. That's very, very dangerous. Always take off the left side tires. Jack that thing up. Let's hope all 4 lug nuts were on tight. But yeah, cars can drive through you if you're in your pit box. Outside of it, though, you are hit and miss as far as what happens. Best to avoid it. We come out in what looks like 10th place. Pretty darn good. I'm happy with that. But let's go back and take a look and see what actually happened there. So it's on the backstretch, and yeah, we watched the 23 and the 24. Oh, and just hooks him. Now, I look back on the replay on this, and it looked like it was a little bit of netcode, just a little bit of, I don't know, awareness. Kind of usually want to give cars a little bit more distance because netcode can be kind of a pain. But it's just unfortunate for that to happen. But at least they kept it relatively clean as far as no damage and stuff. But I think it's about time we take another word from our sponsors. We'll be right back.
Hey, you need your trash rummaged through. Don't care that the rotten food you tossed is spread all across your yard? Don't mind your bins tipped over randomly? Then you must love raccoons. Get them today. Warning, may have rabies. Do not approach. Why is this even a commercial? Official sponsor dumpsters for some reason, and not the official mascot of GLR Esports. Yeah, because that's such a... Hey, get out of my editing room!
Welcome back. I don't know why that one cracks me up, but it always does. Yeah, so talk a little bit about netcode. You know, the reason why it's such a problem is, well, the game is constantly trying to predict where every car is going to be at any given time in the simulator, and you know, sometimes it gets a little bit too antsy and cars touch even when they aren't going to touch. So then it causes crashes. That's when usually people complain about netcode. It's kind of dependent on your internet, your ping rate, all sorts of things. It's a whole thing. Yeah, the pace car is in, and we are going green once again. Things get a little bit stacked up on the inside line a little bit further back, but outside line seems to do okay, but the front two cars really jump away. Second place really did not get going fast enough, but at least it didn't really stack up the outside line too much. You see that 10 cars on my inside still. It's a little bit antsy, but he starts to slot back in behind me, which is good. I'm keeping a high line just in case he was going to dive there, but he doesn't, so I kind of cut that corner down a little bit, get a little better speed to come out of turn 2. It's something that I do occasionally at tracks that, particularly if I'm starting on a high line, I'm going to want to try and do that just to square it up a little bit, especially if I want to try and carry a little bit more speed through the straightaways. And the 9 is looking to my inside here. That car is bright as hell. You won't hear your Epson printer complaining about not having yellow with that car, because that's using all the CM and the Y, just missing a little bit of that K. Very, very bright. No, he's got a little bit of the K in there. You see, I'm pretty much bumping the 28. Now, is that wise? Probably not. But is it fun? Hell yes. It's really fun to give these cars a good little bump. Now, looking at Michigan and comparing it to Fontana, which one do you think is faster? Well, from what I've seen as far as the racing goes, Fontana, you can get up to 200 miles an hour on the straights, but the corners are slower. I think the banking is a little bit shallower and quite a bit more slick, because that surface is just... It's a good surface, but it's also a bad surface, if that makes sense. In that it's good because it's fun, but it's bad because there's no grip. So you go a lot slower around Fontana, a lot more careful, so you're not able to carry as much speed. Michigan, I think it's a newer track slightly. I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to check that once I get done recording this, but it feels like a newer track. Newer, at least, compared to Fontana. Fontana, they didn't repave the thing until, actually never. I think it was like, what, 25 years surface? It was nuts. You see the 14 is getting a little bit of a push behind me because he's right in my draft. Yeah, and in that lovely NASCAR racing livery. That's the game that started it all for me. Arguably, it's the game that kind of loosely started it all for iRacing. iRacing is based off the engine for NASCAR Racing 3 by the company Papyrus Studios, which made the original NASCAR Racing, and made NASCAR Racing 2, and a few others. But they ended up going out of business, and this studio that made iRacing bought it and developed iRacing from it. And I've been building on top of it ever since. Now, it's not a perfect engine, of course, but what's sad is this is easily, without a shadow of doubt, the best NASCAR experience you can have on any game. That's mainly because Ignition 21 is terrible. Absolutely terrible, because Motorsports Games is a trash company. NASCAR Heat 5 and 4 were decent, but their player base is non-existent at this point. Mainly because, well, they're kind of stuck with old cars, or reskin new cars that are still on the old cars. Because basically Motorsports Games has given up on Ignition. They're not really doing much of anything with that. And they sort of have Heat 5, but they don't want to do anything with it because it's not really their game. And they don't care. They really don't. They just want the money. So that's why IndyCar, why did you give it to them? I don't know, but you really shouldn't have. We go 3 wide coming out of 4. Sorry, that's my little motorsport game rant. But 3 wide through there. Now this track is wide enough that is possible. It's treacherous, but it's possible. If you got people that are good racers, which this lobby, you know, it's pretty decent. Strength of field is 2,500. I'm towards the bottom end at 23. You got the guys up at the top end, 27, 28. They at least should know what they're doing. Let's talk a little bit about iRating, because it's sort of an interesting thing. So, in iRacing, you actually have 2 ratings. Now, there's a third one with time trials. I never do it, so I don't care. You have your safety rating, and you have your iRating. Your safety rating is based on how many incidences you have in a race, per corner, per thing. I don't know exactly as far as the points go, but the less incidents you have, the higher your safety rating will be. And you have categories. Ooh, I get up into the wall. No. Ooh, almost getting into him. Just try to keep it up there and keep it off, but ooh, that was dicey. Yeah, fortunately there was a 0x on that one, but I end up falling back to now 14th, looking at 15th now. That's unfortunate. All that progress. But yeah, your safety rating is based on how many incidences you have, and then there's 5 levels. You have Rookie, D, C, B, and A. Each one allowing you a different level of racing that you can access. A, of course, is basically only Cup, I think, is the only one that's at A rating. Xfinity and Legends are in B. And you got Gen 4, Trucks, and C, along with a bunch of other things, like late model and stuff like that. So, I mean, there's reasons and incentives to try and be safe and to move up. And the rating goes from, like, I think 0 to 5. 5 being, actually it's 4.99. I've been there only a couple of times, but I usually try and keep it in the mid to high 4s. And then your iRating is sort of like your skill level in a way, although iRating got pretty inflated over the last few years. But should I be at 2,300? I don't know. I've been on a steady rise and been getting more and more consistent, so sure. Could I get up to 3,000? Maybe. But I'm a far cry from being the 1,500 and 1,400 driver I was before. And I do notice the skill gap between them. Now, my speciality is in more oval racing rather than road racing. I'm getting better at it in this, but things are getting a little stacked up ahead of us as the low line gets a pretty decent run, as the high line gets kind of stopped up. The one car here, ooh, there's a car in the grass. That's kind of why they might have stopped up, and their caution isn't going. And I only just remembered that there was a car in the grass there, so I don't even have the replays set up for that. But I think he got bumped down there on the front stretch. And he was kind of ticked that a caution didn't come out, but at least he kept it out of the wall. Just unfortunate for him. But we try to take it to the inside of the one, really dive it in there, going down onto the second lane, trying not to get loose, just holding on to the car, going back up on the inside of the 28 now. Just not ideal. I should probably try and shut the door there. I am clear up top, but I think I'm also just kind of staying in the draft of the second line here. The reason why I don't want to fully close off the off to the top end, well, I do kind of go in there, but I'm trying to at least keep a line down low because I see these cars being really dicey. And I don't want to get stuck into something and get forced, oh geez, I get bumped there and I go into the pits. Ooh, that's not good. That's a penalty. That's a 50-second penalty. Oh, that sucks. That really sucks. Crap. Well, let's see what happened there. Let's just hop on here, take a look from this angle. You see, I come up, he comes down just a little bit, and just dink. To be honest, probably a mixture of netcode and me getting a little bit loose. I will actually put that one on me. But hey, good quick hands being able to save it, so that's good. But what's unfortunate is now I have to go into the pits for a 50-second penalty. Now the penalties in iRacing are not reflective of the penalties that are in NASCAR. NASCAR would probably be like, hey, yeah, we know you had to go down there for safety reasons, keep it out of the wall, keep it out of the grass. It's fine. And they would have been like, keep going. No one was on pit road anyways. It was not dangerous. It was dangerous, but it was not terribly dangerous. But I come in here and I figured might as well put on new boots. Get a little bit of fuel, make sure I can make it to the end. And then take my penalty. Might as well. I already go a lap down. I already knew I was going to go a lap down. I'm probably going to go 2 laps down. It really ticks me off because it's just taking time. The thing is, I was trying to stay low to stay out of trouble, and it just gets me into trouble. The neat thing, though, here is I'm still at a 0x. That was a 0x contact. It was not major. My car is not damaged. And the caution's out. Well, that's fortunate. Now, I am now 2 laps down, because here comes the leaders, and I'm still serving my penalty. But there is a little bit of a silver lining. I'm in the pits. I have new tires. I will probably be let out here, and I'll probably get a wave around. The other thing is, if you notice on the leaderboard here, I am technically the first car lap down. Now, compared to other racing, NASCAR has some interesting rules. Now, like any GT racing or like in Formula One, with the exception of the 2021 final race in, what was it, Abu Dhabi or whatever, usually lapped cars get a wave around. So that's pretty common. And what that does is it basically just means, all right, leaders will be back at the front, being able to lead the pack, and the lapped cars are out of the way. That makes sense. Of course, we all know what happened with Verstappen and Hamilton in 2021, where Hamilton, I think, got a little bit robbed. Now, granted, I don't like the guy all that much. I think he's a bit pomp. I think he's a bit, pompous. That's what I was looking for. Let's see what actually happened in that caution. 7 and the 15 battling hard. Ooh, and the 17 just drives through him. Jesus, that was a murder. That was a murder. Yes, you were murdered. I love that meme. Yeah, just watch this. Right into him. Just uses him as a brake. That's dirty. That's really dirty. You see the cat car there getting just a little bit loose. I don't like that kind of driving. I really don't. That's some dirty stuff. But yeah, back to the Formula One thing about the go-around. I mean, they just basically wanted it to end under green because it's more entertaining. I get it. NASCAR does the same thing. That's the reason why we have green-white checkers. It's one of the really... I enjoy the rule for entertainment purposes. I hate the rule for the racing it causes. Because that kind of racing basically means you're just going to try and throw it in there. And especially because they put such an importance on winning, it makes for some really dirty racing. So I don't really like the green-white checker flag, but I also like it because it's entertaining. It's a double-edged sword. I hate it when a race ends under caution. I hate it when a race has to turn to a wreck fest in a green-white checker. You see, I get the wave around, so I'm going to hop around. And at least recoup one of my 2 lost laps because of that penalty. Now, because of the wave around, the way that it works is you will be in your ranking order. And I'll explain the reason why that's significant in a little bit because of another rule that will undoubtedly come up, or at least I'm hoping will come up, something called the lucky dog rule. Now, the lucky dog rule means that you get basically like a free wave around if you are the first car off the lead lap. So I am in that lucky dog position if a caution comes out, which means I can gain my lap back and be back on the lead lap despite the penalty that I had to serve that was, rather unfitting. But we come back around, the pace car is in, and we go green. So the 7 kind of took its sweet time there. So at this point, unlike in my other points in the race, I'm actually hoping for a caution. Now the start there, oh, and I get the caution. Caution's out. Now things were a little dicey on that start. As you saw, I think it was at 27 got a little bit squirrely there. But at least we all kept together, but I just kind of fell back. So really, this is best case scenario. I get my lap back and everything, and it's great. Let's see what actually happened there. Okay, oh, the 17 and I don't know what other car that is. Then 2 other cars kind of go down on the apron. Yeah, it looked like the 2 and something else. Oh, the 3 was just basically driving through the 17. Kind of wonder what happened there. The 17 is getting involved in a lot of things today. Oh yeah, 17 just sort of squeezes up on him, and then the 2, trying to dodge it, lets the cat car and goes down onto the apron. Good on them keeping it out of the wall, but really dicey. Well, as I was explaining the lucky dog rule, you get to see that now I actually get the lucky dog. Now what's cool about the lucky dog is I get the wave around, which means I get my lap back, and it's actually a really neat rule, and it's one that I think is pretty cool for keeping things competitive, especially in racing like this where it's so easy to lose a lap. Especially if something just wrong happens, it's sort of out of your control, at least you can kind of get something, get back in the game. And it helps keep cars competitive. Because I have a fast car. I haven't been damaged, but I lost 2 laps. But I get the lucky dog, so I just start coming around. It's like, hey, excuse me, pardon me, coming through, thank you. It's really cool. And this is one of the slightly gimmicky rules in NASCAR that I actually really like. Because it means that one mistake doesn't completely ruin your race. And it also means that even if you go a lap down, if you're just trying to adjust your car even through the day, it's not the end of the world. It also creates sort of a secondary race if there's a few cars that are a lap down. You basically get another race in the background, which is kind of fun. The downside of being the lucky dog, though, is you have to go to the tail end of the longest line. Which means you've got lap cars in front of you. Kinda sucks, but it is what it is. Now, given that I pitted on lap 36, we had 1 lap of green flag runs. I don't think I need to pit at all. But in being a lucky dog, I would be able to go into the pits there and take my pit stop and still stay on the lead lap. Well, you see they're shuffling around a little bit. Getting everything in order for the restart as we are on 1 to go. Now I'm riding on the apron here just so that way I'm out of the way of other cars coming around. I'm getting a message here saying so-and-so by. I think it's the 27. Now the 27 is, looks like he's 9 laps down, so he was involved, I'm guessing, in that first wreck. And he's the one that kind of didn't really get going in the previous restart, caused me to have to slow up and caused the 18 to kind of get a little squirrely trying to get around him. Alrighty. Get all grouped up here. Try and warm up the tires a little bit. Pace cars down on the apron. And we are going green. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Oh, and you see the 27 gets really squirrely there. I pass him on the inside, which is yet another black flag. Damn it. Now, this black flag is not as egregious as the last one, but it does mean I still have to go into the pits, and it's a 26-second penalty. That really pissed me off. I was actually kind of mad at the 27 there. Found out he downshifted into first gear for that restart. No. Yep, he screwed me over. And it really sucks because that's my second black flag of the damn race. Just after getting onto the lead lap. So now I've got to do this all over again. So I get into the pits. Make sure to turn off tires. Make sure to turn off fuel. I don't need them. 55 miles an hour. And steaming effing mad. But let's see what actually happened on that restart here. So you don't need to watch me serve my penalty. I get in my box. It's fine. See, I even give some distance because I'm like, I don't know if this is going to work well. And he gets swirly and I go down. Now, granted, diving down was the best thing to do. Quick hands there, but it really ticks me off. I see the cars going around. So, you know what we're going to do? Because I'm basically just going to be off on my own here. We're just going to watch the, at least here in this little window, we're going to watch the leaders. See kind of what happened. Because I'm just on the apron now. I only keep this, keep my screen larger just because, well, all the telemetry stuff is mated to it. Okay, you see the 7, and it looks like the 8 there are battling really hard. 8's able to get a decent run there with the 10 right behind him. 10's really moved up. Ooh, and a little bit of a door slam there against the 23. Unfortunately, they all keep it in the same direction. Caterpillar number 19 is blinking like an MFer, but oof. I know. Why did I suddenly go Wisconsin? No, maybe it's Road America or something. So it's the 8, it's the 10, and the 7 make up our top 3 here. And you see the 10 is diving down to the inside, all the way down to the bottom lane, which is kind of ballsy. I think he's doing it mostly just out of safety reasons. Doesn't know quite how low he's going to go. But also his car is really sticking well on that low line. And he's able to get to the lead. So now the 10 is in the lead here. And it looks like it's the 19. Oh, it's the 8th and the 19. And then the 17. 17 has been sort of a wrecking ball most of this race, so it's a little bit dicey having him there. He's already been involved in at least 2 wrecks. Surprising that he's able to stay up that high position after 2 wrecks like that, but I guess maybe not significant damage, or he got it repaired pretty quickly. Now, all the while here, I'm actually watching my deltas as they're battling around, and I'm about maybe 15 seconds ahead of them, so I'm still staying 1 lap down, but it doesn't look like I'm going to go 2 laps down, which is good. I was a little worried given that they're all drafting together, but they're battling pretty hard, and my car's pretty damn quick. So it doesn't look like it's going to be too much of an issue. See, now I'm just hoping that there's going to be a crash. Just kind of rude on my part. I shouldn't be hoping for them to crash, but that would be the opportune thing, is to have a caution. Because a caution means I can get my lap back after yet another black flag that was not my fault. Ooh, and the 10 and the 19 get together. Door slamming there going through turn 1 and 2. 17 and the 8 kind of stack up a little bit, and they go 3 wide behind. As the 7 dives in there. 8 sort of gets shuffled back. '19 squeezes the 7 down onto the apron, slots in behind, and they go back 2 by 2. '19 and the 17 side by side now. The 17 is going to get a better run out on the top line, and the 8 is going to be following in suit. But the 19 and the 7 seem to be better bumper to bumper. The 19 dives down lower than the 7 wants to go. Not able to give him the help that he needs. The 17 slots in front of the 19. They go back single file, at least for the top 4. And top 5. This is actually some pretty good racing now. You see the 10 is starting to try to cool things off, taking that middle line, so diving it down there, but he's got the car to do it. So on him now, he's trying to break the toe, taking it down to the low line there. That is technically the quickest way around the front stretch if you're solo, but when you're in the draft, you kind of actually want to get a little bit more speed So that's usually why they take the high line when they're all kind of slotted together. It's also easier on the tires and stuff like that too. So, but yeah, he's trying to break the toe, see if he can break away from them. Because I can see in the 10 the way he's driving there, it's pretty confident. Oh, you see that 3 blinking like crazy back there. How he hasn't killed anyone, I'll never know. Ooh, the 8 kind of forces the 19 down onto the apron. Almost door slams him. Yeah, the 10 just seems to be pulling away ever so slightly from the 17. But these long straightaways allows the 17 to roll right back up to him, closing that gap down to about half a car length as the cars behind him fan out into 2 and 3 wide almost. Battle for 4th, 5th, and actually, yeah, the battle for 5th and 6th there is kind of getting nuts. But they slot back single file for the top 5. 17 bouncing off the bumper of the 10. The 10 is just able to drive through the middle of the corner pretty well. Ooh, the 8 and the 17 get together, and the caution is out yet again. But the 17 just squeezing it up on that high line. Oh, goodness. Let's go back and see what happened there. Yeah, just the 8 squeezes the 17 into the wall. Spins him around. Now, the 17 had a little bit more room, but not by much up that wall. But, yeah, just questionable with 17 being in the 3rd crash. Now, let's watch that. Yeah, he could have gone higher, but maybe the 8 was assuming that. But again, you can't assume that someone's just going to go higher just because you think they will. They might not. They might crowd down there. That is a fair move. But that is very advantageous for me because for the 2nd time this race, I'm the lucky dog. And that means I get my lap back. Now, I have not pitted since lap 36. Now, the thing is saying 46, that's because that was when I was serving my penalty. But I didn't take tires, I didn't take fuel. So, really, I'm on probably 17, 18 lap old tires. As far as green flag runs, probably 16, 15, but it's still enough that I should probably go in for another set. I do have 2 more sets after this anyways. So, you get a total of 3 sets of tires for this race. I've already used 1. Actually, I've used 2. So this would be using my last set. Okay, something to consider. But again, we're coming to 12 to go. It's time. It's fine. 10 laps of tire use, not going to be major. But see, I'm going to run around here and take my lucky dog. And I'm flooring it. Why am I flooring it? Because I'm basically going to be making what feels like a green flag pit stop. I want to make sure I'm not going to get lapped, but it's also really fun just to get this over with. So I dive down on the apron, get it down to 55. I do not want a speeding penalty. I don't need another penalty. Car there kind of confused me a little bit, but we put on 4 fresh Goodyear tires. Boys move around pretty quickly. We do not need fuel. We have been good on fuel since like lap 36. See him drive right through me, and I go. Poor scuffed up chicken. That was when I got into the wall a little bit. But the good thing is we are finally back on the lead lap, and that's important, because now we can finally fight. But I think it's time once again to take a word from our sponsors. We will be right back.
Do you like a bit of racing, lads? Do you love a lash of Guinness? Of course you do. Every real man does. Now you know it makes sense. Come join GLR for some fantastic racing and sub here so you don't miss a thing. come to the lounge and pour yourself a glass of the glorious blacks that we know as Guinness, and know that your home, GLR Esports.
Welcome back. And thank you, Mikey, yet again for doing that recording. Yes, that is our channel, that is our Discord, that is our little community there, all wrapped around Guinness. GLR is we're a fun group. As long as you like Guinness, we'll like you. And if you don't like Guinness, we'll teach you. Now, I have come out of the pits here, and I am just sort of shuffling to the back, because yet, once again, I am on the back of the longest line for the restart, despite being on the lead lap. 27 is fortunately on the outside, so he's not going to be a problem this time. And we get the green flag. Actually get a pretty decent start. I take a cautious start there. Just thinking the 13 was, or the 27 was going to screw me up again. But I take this opportunity and I dive down to the inside to get on the inside of these guys. And you see a little bit of smoke and puff come up there, but that's just from the 3 car, I think, blinking yet again. But I get around most of the lap cars, and now everything in front of me is for position. So I'm in 18th. I've got some work to do, because we've got 10 laps to go, coming up to 9. And the caution's out again. Ooh, a lot of car spinning there. Taking it to the apron, trying to find a hole, dodge around the 7. I make it through there clean. And I make up a lot of positions too. That was a lot of cars there that got kind of messed up. Some of them will retain their positions from before. Others will unfortunately either have to go into the garage. Yeah, you see at least the one was ahead of me there. A few others will be as well. Now, the rules with cautions in NASCAR is your position is determined by the timing line at the time of caution. So some cars might be ahead of you that you were suddenly or that was suddenly behind you when the crash happened, but that's just kind of how things are. Let's take a look back and see what happened there, because there was a lot. Yeah, car gets stuffed in the wall. Another one, as he checks up on him, just gets spun, causing a lot of cars to spin around. Plus, yeah, that one car blinking there. I believe that's number 3 still blinking. Really got to get off that McDonald's internet. Let's watch on board 2. It's kind of shuffled around. Yes, see the check up there, finds a hole there, almost dodges it, and ends up punting the 9. Just center punching him, and then gets sort of spun around. Unfortunate for him. Just unfortunate. Because he had a pretty good car. But hey, that's just what happens when cars are a little bit too close. But I think it's time to take one last word from our sponsor. Hopefully we can take this commercial free to the end.
Racer 14 here. Do you suck at racing? Are you 5 laps down in a 4-lap race? Do you want to get good? Come to Kazian Racer School for kids who can't race good and want to do other stuff good too. Get good, son. The official racing school of GLR Esports.
And welcome back. Yes, I just decided to shuffle through with Doug's Cars for Kids ad. Just having a bunch of the GLR guys come and do recordings. So we had Mikey, we had Doug, last week we had Neil. It's been fun. Still need to get Kazi, Marms, and Cordell to do one. Someday. I mean, we do have Cordell's Weenies because pussing out is the worst. Worst, get it? Because it's Weenies, sausage, W-U-R-S-T. Nah, he's never going to record for that. He's going to tell me to go fuck myself. And rightly so. But it would still be really funny to ask. Alright, so the pace car is in. Got the 10 leading, and he's in control, and he goes. Got the green flag. I get a pretty decent start. I had a pretty good gap to the car ahead of me, but that's mainly out of caution. But the outside line gets a pretty good run. Doesn't get stopped up like it has before, which is good. Good for me, at least. Shifter into 5th coming out of this corner to maintain speed through the backstretch. See things getting a little bit shuffly back there. But we maintain our position. Oh, the 3 blinking behind me is terrifying. Now, I see the 22 go up into the wall, so I take it a little bit low. Now, that's not necessarily the best move as far as position. So you see, I'm starting to fall back, but it is the best move for safety because all that asphalt down here on the apron is very useful. Fortunately, going down that low, I lose a couple of positions. I go from 12th to 13th and possibly to 14th. As we come to 3 to go, we are 3 wide. I've got a little bit of a hole to come up to. Basically blocking 8, but the 8 gets a nose in there, and I don't want to just stuff him into the wall like the 17 did. That would just be rude. Speaking of which, where is the 17? Ah, 17's in 19th right now. 2 laps down. Guess that final wreck really did him in. See, now I'm the meat in a sandwich between the 8 and the 2. I'm sandwiched between my 2 numbers. Ha! But I managed to get a little bit of a run out over the 9, or over the 2 there. Sorry, I said 9 because it's the Napa car, but he, I think, backed out there just to kind of let me have the position. Just wasn't worth trying to run it on that low of the line. And I slot in front of the 8th to finally secure 12th place yet again. I'm watching the 3 ahead of me blinking like crazy, and it is terrifying. Eight is right there, and we come to the white flag brought to you by Marm's Chicken Farm. Again, we feed them the best so they taste the best. Dive it into turn 1. Taking the high line, the reason I am is because it is the fastest line around when you're in a pack like this. Now, we've got a bit of a crowd here, and the 28's going to try and make it into a party. Ooh, but we go 4 wide through there, and we are coming to the checker flag. Can I maintain 11th place? I do. 4 wide there to the finish. That was nuts. I'm genuinely surprised we were able to keep it all clean there, too. Because that was some crazy racing there. Now, the fact that the 2 kind of stuck it in there and the 28 was there too, that was just nuts. Well, I think that will just about do it for the racing today. That was a little bit of a long one, but fun racing. I love Michigan. It's good fun. But, you know, like, subscribe, comment, share, all the YouTubey things. I've also got a Twitch channel that I sometimes do some other racing stuff in there, so if you want to join that, I'll throw that link down in the description as well. But yeah, feel free to join us. We do GT7, ACC, I do iRacing. It's good fun. If you want to race, come join us. Have a good time, knock back a few Guinnesses, and enjoy. But that will do it for now. I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye-bye.